My friend, he was going out there with his cousin one day and he just told me to come along. So I said, okay. And we just hung out there. Because he knew I never really travel much. So he just wanted me to experience something new. It was fun. It was fun. Watching sunset in New Jersey is so pretty. Because it's more open area. So you really see the sky. And then when all you see is just trees in the mass and the sun setting, it's peaceful. It's peaceful. I didn't want to go home.
Hey listeners, thanks for tuning into Hearts and Minds from the Bell, a media platform that amplifies the voices of high school students and empowers them to lead the fight for their futures. I'm your host, Taylor McGraw. If you missed Noah Part 1, you should go back and listen to it. Quick recap, Noah is a teenager from Brooklyn. I've been interviewing him periodically this semester, trying to capture the story of his education, which offers insight into the problem of school segregation. At least, that's where things got started. We left off with Noah getting suspended for inciting a fight in 8th grade. Let's jump back in.
I only got suspended for like a week. Honestly, I didn't really get that much time. When I came back, I had to spend the day in an office with my principal. I was still in student council at this time, so I lost my status in student council. I got dropped from there. Speaking to Miss Campbell all day, my principal, she taught me a lot. She was just telling me, she was like, Noah, why? Why did you do it? And I told her why. I said, because I do not like her. She has literally no reason to be mean to me. Miss Campbell told me, she was like, okay, she don't like you. What does that have to do with you? You just passed up everything, all the achievements you could have been awarded and stuff. You just lost all that to be petty. And she was right. And I felt bad after that. I learned my lesson since then. If anybody tried to start with me, I always thought about it first before I just jump at a situation.
I called Miss Campbell, Noah's old principal, and asked her about Noah's suspension. Her story was pretty much the same as his. She did emphasize, however, how remorseful he was. She said he cried that day in her office. Before I brought up the suspension, she told me only positive things about Noah. He was really bright, always in his uniform, kind, respectful. She said he was a performer. There was another woman in the office that day when I called, and for about 30 seconds, I listened to the two of them reminisce about how smooth of a dancer Noah was, almost forgetting that I was on the other end. Noah was also a singer, and he used to play instruments.
After school, I joined the steel pans team. I used to play steel pan. It's a Caribbean instrument. I had these 3 pans, and it was like there would just be bumps coming out of the pans. It's like where it's been banged out. It was cool. I really love steel pan. Going out through the whole day, that used to be what relaxes me before I went home. I performed steel pan at my graduation. And I did get an award. I got the principal's award from Miss Campbell. She made sure she gave me some sort of award at graduation. That made me feel good. I felt loved. Graduation was fun. I felt free. Finally, I can go to high school. I have a little bit more freedom. 9th grade though. 9th grade, it was horrible.
Before Noah goes on, it's important that we spend a couple minutes talking about New York City's open choice process for high schools. In theory, it allows students to choose from more than 700 high school programs across the 5 boroughs. It's a complex matching system that relies on the same Nobel Prize-winning algorithm that medical schools use to match students to residency programs. You might think this would lead to diverse student bodies, a harmonious sea of equitable schools. Instead, it leads to segregation and inequity. Why? Let's use a sports analogy. The NFL draft was a few weeks ago. Each year, the draft order is the reverse order of how the 32 teams finished the previous season. So the Cleveland Browns, who went 1-15 last year, got the top pick.
With the first pick in the 2017 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Myles Garrett.
All right.
Defensive end, Texas A&M.
And the Super Bowl champion New England Patriots got the last pick. The goal is to help level the playing field for the next year. Now, everyone knows that a few draft picks won't make the league equal, and who would want that anyway? But it does help create a quality of opportunity. It quickly raises the level of the teams at the bottom and gives every team a fighting chance to make the playoffs. This is not what happens in New York City's public education system. What happens is that top schools, the Patriots of the system, get the top picks year after year, and the worst schools, the Browns of the system, always get the last picks. Because the process is extremely complicated and time-intensive, it favors highly educated, affluent families, some of whom go so far as to hire outside consultants to help with the process. Now, the decision of where Noah would attend high school, which would in turn determine the likelihood of him going to college or getting a good job, fell primarily to him at age 13. So, how did he decide?
I wanted it to be a school based around acting, so it wasn't really that many choices with acting schools, so and performing arts schools that, especially when it came to schools you didn't have to audition for. Like, there's a lot of performing arts schools where you had to audition for, and I just didn't want to go through that whole process. So I just read about it in the directory, and I just was attached to the school. I just decided I'm going to go for it. When I went to my mom, I asked her, I said, could I go to this school, Mommy? And she said, yeah, it don't seem like a bad school, so why not? And that was my first choice.
The high school directory is a massive book with overviews of all the high school options and the complex process by which you can be admitted to them. Unsure which factors to prioritize, many students I talk to tell me they decide based on a name or a short paragraph description. One of Noah's classmates said she chose classics because, unlike some schools, it allows kids to bring their cell phone into the building. If you want to see this year's directory for yourself, we posted a link to it on the episode page of our website, bellpodcast.com. You can also find a link to a New York Times story from a couple weeks back about the false promises of the high school choice system. I encourage you to give it a read. The conclusion is that at the end of the day, there just aren't enough good schools, especially in low-income neighborhoods. And the matching process, which sends the lowest performing students to the lowest performing schools year after year, makes it nearly impossible for bad schools to get better. As Noah puts it,
I feel like it's not really the building, it's the students that come in it and what the teachers do within it. We don't try because we feel like we're less. And that just upsets me. It just upsets me. It's the students, really. It's not really the building.
This episode is about Noah's high school experience, his plans for the future, and his philosophy on lots of things, including the issue that led me on this journey in the first place, segregation. We pick up at the end of 8th grade.
Okay, so we was in math one day. I sit in the front right corner and he sits in the back left corner.
Noah's talking about his friend David.
Ms. Johnson separated us because we'd be talking to each other, and so she's going around the room asking us what high school we picked. I say I picked school for classics, and then I see David's long hand in the corner. Yo, I picked that school too, bro. I picked it too, bro. I'm like, oh, I'm stuck with him. And that's how I figured it out. He was going to school with me. He's like a little brother to me. I'm always having to look after him. So now I know I really had to do that for 4 more years. I was hoping somebody else too would be going with me, but we were the only 2. That surprised me a lot. We were the only 2 going to the school. But I didn't care. At least I had somebody coming with me. I didn't want to go alone. Because I feel like it would have been harder for me to make friends here if I didn't have nobody at all.
The School for Classics, an academy of thinkers, writers, and performers, is a small high school with a long name. There are around 300 students, squeezed into the 4th floor of a middle school building in Brooklyn's East New York neighborhood. But as one student named Ashley puts it,
this big one hallway, all of us together in it, makes it the best hallway,
The best hallway, yeah.
The best hallway ever.
The building's across the street from a public housing project. And like the neighborhood, the school is almost 100% non-white and predominantly poor.
When I get off the 3 train in New Lots, I like it. This isn't a bad neighborhood, but once you get to this part, then it's just chaos. It's just certain parts of this neighborhood is just ridiculous. Like, you can't walk through there without somebody saying something to you or trying to bother you or asking you where you from, who you, as if they own the place, as if this isn't a free country and I can't walk through. It's not like I'm walking in your building. I'm trying to get to the other side. I'm not trying to walk around your whole complex. The kids that don't go here and they live over there, they don't know me. So it's like, they're hostile to me automatically. Especially look at me. I'm wearing all black. I look suspicious.
Classics, like so many themed small high schools that cropped up during Bloomberg's tenure, has what's called a limited unscreened admissions process. The school's principal, Deborah Sukar, tells me this means she can't look at the academic transcripts or test scores of prospective students. The system only lets her preference students who attended an information session or stopped by their booth at a high school fair. It would be like a football team drafting a player whose stats they'd never seen. Selective public high schools, on the other hand, do get to see these stats, test scores, GPAs, attendance reports. And as a result, they siphon off the best students, leaving schools like Classics with the lowest performers. According to city data, none of the entering 9th graders at Classics last year took and passed the state math test as 8th graders. 70% scored at the lowest possible level, 1 out of 4. This extreme degree of academic sorting is common. There are hundreds of high schools where only a handful of incoming students have passed 8th grade state exams. But enough of all these numbers. Let's hear about Noah's experience.
9th grade is just me and David, me and him. We have every class together, ironically. So we didn't make many friends. We made like 2 friends. We had Ann and Ayrie. I don't know. They came to school together too, so it was just like, we was the mighty 4. We was the Fantastic 4. We was just that group of friends. We called ourselves Tezuki. That's what we called ourselves. It's a sticker on Messenger that we used to send each other in the group chats a lot. It was called Tezuki, so that's where we got the name from. Everybody has their own clique here. Everybody has their own group of friends, and if you don't find your own group of friends here, you will be left alone. And I personally don't like that. So sometimes when I would see kids in the lunchroom, they would be alone at the table or something, I would try and talk to them. But they never really would talk to me. It's just one word. It would just be a one-word conversation. Just, yeah, I'm fine. Okay, thank you. So I'm like, if you don't want to be bothered, then I'll leave you be. I don't connect with everybody as I connect with David. I may talk to David about how I feel and shit. And sorry. I would talk to him about how I feel and how my day's been and what I did and stuff. I've never trusted anybody in this school, really. Never invested my time into them. Because you hear that? These kids is just as wild. These kids are superficial. Like Tion said about being popular.
Tion is a senior who everyone seems to like.
It's not hard to be popular in a one-hallway school. There's so many kids you see during the day. So he got noticed for his nationality and his heritage and his accent, while me and David, we got known for being troublemakers. When me and David became friends and we came to high school together, it seems like I rubbed off on him and he rubbed off on me. I became more of a loose cannon and he focused more on school. So me and him would get into a lot of trouble together because he would do stupid stuff in class and I would do it with him. Like we would be talking across the class and stuff like that. Or he would throw stuff at people and I would co-sign with him. So I would throw stuff too. I'd play too. And
What's the root cause of that?
I just felt like if he's gonna do it, and I know he's gonna do it, I'm not gonna let him fall alone. I'm gonna do it with him. And it seemed funny to me, but I need to realize. I later realized that everybody makes their own decisions in life, but this was ninth grade, so I just felt like doing what he was doing. And we never got suspended ninth grade, but we used to end up in this room a lot, talking to Mr. O'Grady or Miss McCulloch. I didn't really care.
But when it came to academics,
I would still get my work done. I'd find some way, somehow. I used to do David's homework for him too. I didn't want him to fail. I wanted him to pass with me, so I used to do it for him.
what about Noah's teachers? What were they like?
Ninth grade, I was doing geometry. I was with Ms. Vishnu. Now, Ms. Vishnu, she's another woman. She's another blunt, straightforward woman. But she's just funny, and it's like she told you what it is, and she told you what you had to do. She wouldn't sugarcoat much, and I respected her for that. And she made sure every single one of us in our math class passed those regents. She made sure. She used to be here on Saturdays. We used to come here for Saturday school. We would be here after school. We would study with her. We used to give up our lunch to study with her. And we passed. Global history, when Mr. Veneziano was here, he seemed like a depressed man. He would just give you a worksheet, tell you what to do, and then he would just go and put his head down. It's like something was really bothering him. So me and Mr. Veneziano never had some sort of relationship. Miss Bianco by far is the nicest teacher I've ever had. She is a sweet, pure-hearted woman, but I don't know what it was about her. I just never did her work at all. She was just so free-going with it. If I didn't do my work or I didn't do my homework or stuff, she would just be like, oh, just make sure you turn it in to me before the marking period ends. And I'll still give you a credit. It won't be late. And I took advantage of that. I took advantage of her being so nice. And I still feel bad for her. To this day, I still feel bad for her. Back in middle school and elementary, she saw my grades from back then. So she used to be like, why are your grades so good? But yet you do nothing here. Why? I used to never answer. I never had an answer. But I got it now. And I just decided, let me not make her job harder. Let me do what she wants, because all she wants is the best for me.
The whole reason Noah wanted to go to classics was to perform. How was that aspect of his experience?
Freshman year, I did Hamlet. And sophomore year, last year, I did Guys and Dolls. I did a musical. Other than that, I didn't really perform nothing else in the school. But I love the performances. Hamlet that was a good turnout. That was a great turnout. That was 9 months of hard work. Hard work. We were working from September all the way through June to get that play. And it was great. It was a good turnout. All of my freshman friends was with me. We was working with kids from every single grade in the play. So we really felt united as a school. And then with Guys and Dolls, I finally got to flaunt my voice and sing to people. So I picked the role who sings the most, and that was Nathan Detroit.
I asked Noah if he'd sing one of the songs, and he didn't hesitate.
I dreamed last night I got on a boat to heaven, and by some chance I had brought my dice along, and there I stood, and I hollered, someone save me, but the passengers, they know right from wrong. So the people all said, sit down, you're rocking a boat. People all said, sit down, you're rocking a boat. And the devil will drag you under by the sharp lapel of your checkered coat. Sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, you're rocking a boat. That was more of a gambling 1960s type of play. It was a great play. It was great. I loved it. I wish that we could have did another one this year, but Mr. Danza left, so we don't have somebody to really put it together anymore. Since I don't get to perform and stuff like that anymore, I perform for myself. Perform for myself in the world. If I walk down the street and I hear Katy Perry, or if I hear Taylor Swift or Britney Spears or somebody like Imagine Dragons or Panic at the Disco or rock bands, pop bands, hip hop and R&B, country music, I can tune to any type of music. I sing anything that crosses my way. Whoever hears as they go by and hears my voice, that's what they blessed with.
When Noah came back to school for his junior year, there was yet another twist in his educational journey, a surprise offer from his guidance counselor.
He just spoke to us all at once. And when he told us that because of our credits and our regents and whatever, so that we could graduate this year, I instantly said yes. I mean, if I could get out now, of course I will. The easier the better.
That's how you thought about it?
Mm-hmm.
Get out now.
The quicker the better, honestly. And it makes no sense to waste a whole nother year here.
I'm trying to get the timing right. So that was...
He told us when we came in September.
Oh, wow. So you came to school thinking it was junior year, you had 2 more.
And it just turned into senior year.
One motivating factor for deciding to graduate early.
I finished all my math classes already. When we come here, you take algebra, then geometry, then trig. I took algebra in 8th grade, so when I came here in 9th grade, I took geometry. And then when I went to 10th grade last year, I took my trig test. And I passed that, so here I am.
No calculus?
I'm planning to take that once I go to college. I want to master all of that. Master statistics. I want to know statistics too.
Noah said he enjoyed taking the SAT this spring because it allowed him to do math again.
It made me redo everything I've learned from 9th grade all the way till now. Like, I haven't done geometry since I had geometry. So I had to remember that. And I had to remember my trigonometry stuff. But I love the fact that I got to do math again. I felt challenged by math again.
He scored an 1160, which places him in the top third of scores nationally. I showed Noah the average SAT score at his school last year.
802. That's an average for this school? Half? Jeez.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
This information is not in the high school directory, but it is on the school's annual quality snapshot. I pulled out the entry for classics in the 2017 directory and told Noah to let me know anything that jumped out.
37% of students enroll in college or career programs. Jeez. Okay. 79% of students feel that this school offers a wide enough variety of programs, classes, and activities to keep them interested in school. 79. Well, that means a lot of people are happy with this school.
Is that higher than you thought?
Yeah. I would have expected it to be like maybe 60, 65.
Noah's instinct is right. According to the latest city data, it's actually 52% of students who say they are interested in school. So why is the number inflated in the high school directory? I haven't uncovered a sneaky practice here, just a slow one. The data in the directory is actually 2 years old. This is important because in small schools like classics, the data can fluctuate significantly in a year. The next cohort of 8th graders, for example, will see the school's graduation rate is 81%, which it was in 2015, but last year's rate was just 60%.
So imagine what I was looking at when I was looking at this directory when I was in 8th grade. I probably wasn't even looking at accurate stats. That just baffles me. I would have definitely made a different choice. This is crazy. Mm-hmm. If I would have, so my mother would have saw these numbers and would have been like, no, You should pick something else. You should pick something else.
Noah noticed that the list of activities is also outdated.
Activities? I mean, we got open gym. There's really no more choir. There's really no more step team. The culinary club's still out here. We still have the leadership team. Student government. There's no green team in this school. There's no fitness club in this school. There's no track. There's a lot of misconceptions on this paper.
All of this prompted me to ask Noah what he wished his high school experience would have been like.
I mean, I wish... Everybody always wish it would have been a High School Musical story. That's how I always looked at it. But of course, that's not reality, especially in these type of neighborhoods. So I thought it'd be nice students, nice teachers, easy way through, easy lunch, good lunch food, football team, basketball team, soccer team, something. It's just basketball. Everything about the school is it just bothers me. But I don't blame the school. I know it's kind of hard for them. So I just try my hardest to help them. Help with fundraising, or whenever Miss McCulloch or Miss Sukar have to hand something around the classes, I do it for them. Anything I could do to help around, I do it. The school needs it.
High School Musical is set in an affluent, majority white school. I asked Noah how that type of environment, say at a school in the Upper West Side, would compare to his.
I've never seen like a public school in a predominantly wealthy area, but I would assume that a public school in a wealthy area probably would get more funding than a public school in a low-income area, because parents are more involved in their students' school life when they can actually put something towards it or try to help fundraise or stuff like that. Like, we do fundraisers in this school and we make little to nothing at all. We don't even support our own fundraisers. Public education in a wealthy area, I just feel like those kids do fairly well in school than we do, based on what they have, and that they have more. They have more resources, they have more books or this or that. Like, this school, we have to share calculators. We have to share calculators in a school. Imagine doing that on the Regents. Imagine that. And that's hard. I had to do my algebra Regents with no calculator, you know. I did it with no calculator. It was hard, though. It was hard. I failed all the graph questions. I have no graphing calculator. But I still passed. It's crazy, but it's what happens in this school. Students were stealing the calculators last year. Could you believe it? Stealing calculators.
At this point, I realized I was dancing around the issue of segregation, so I decided to ask him about it, straight up, starting with the Brown v. Board decision.
Brown v. Board, I know what you're talking about. I learned it in U.S. history, but that was a while back, so I'm trying to remember it right now. Eliminating segregation in all schools. That makes me think of the Little Rock Nine. Little black kids, when they was going to school, people was throwing books at them and rocks at them and stuff like that, but they still was going to a white school, and they still did what they had to do. When it came down to segregation, white schools would essentially get more and better resources than black schools would. So I don't know much about the case, but the turnout was good.
I asked Noah which region of the country he thought had the most segregated schools today.
Probably the Southeast, honestly. Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, states like that. Of course, the southern states still do what they do, but it's just not as intense, and not everything they used to do is allowed anymore. So, I mean, they could still call you a nigger as they walk by, but it's died down a bit.
As a native Mississippian, Noah's answer doesn't surprise me, and it isn't totally off base, but when I confront him with the evidence that New York State has the most segregated school system, mainly because of New York City? Here's how he reacts.
There's nothing offensive about statistics. It's just facts. So I don't feel no type of way towards it. It is the truth, evidently. So, I mean, it surprises me, but when I think about it, it makes sense.
In my first conversation with Noah back in January, I asked him what his plans were after he graduated.
Next year, I planned on going to trade school, actually. I want to be a carpenter. I actually want to learn everything around architecture, plumbing, electrician, welding, carpentry, contracting. I want to make sure, I want to know how to do everything. I want to know how to build a house by myself. I like building stuff. I like creating stuff. I'm a creative person. So I plan to go on the Institution of Design and Construction. It's a trade school on J Street, actually. It's not far from here. It's a 3-train ride. After that, then I wanted to go to college because I wanted to take college for business and management and some sort of architecture too. And I do want to go for my calculus too. I really want to master calculus. I want to know how to do every single math there is. I need to.
When I asked him why he wanted to be able to build a house, he started talking about his mother.
I'm going to send her to Paris. She's always wanted to go to Paris ever since she was a little girl. Always. And I always promised her that I will send her there. I will build a house in Paris for her, just for her to live there. And I'm going to do that.
Why Paris?
She wants to see the Eiffel Tower. She just wants to touch it. She always seen it in pictures and thought how tall it might be or how it might look in person. So everybody has their dream. I want to fulfill my mom's dream. Especially since she had to give up her dream to raise us. She wanted to be a cop, actually, and end up retiring in Paris and stuff. But she got pregnant with my older brother when she was 17, so she dropped out of high school and never went back. So she got just stuck raising us. And after him, then my sister came along, and then I came along, and then my other sister came along. So she just never had enough time to do it. She was too focused on us.
When I spoke to Noah in early May, he explained that there was a hiccup in his plans.
Being so lost and confused and being so indecisive, I've practically missed the deadline. So I'm gonna have to wait till it opens up again, but I'll be fine till then. Mm-hmm. I already have it figured out. I know what I'm gonna do.
Which is what?
I mean, I have to wait for applications to be open again and all that extra stuff. So by the time that comes, I'll have a job by then, and I'll just be starting to live on my own. Because I'm supposed to be moving out the house with my sister eventually. She wants me to live with her in the Bronx.
Really?
Yeah, for some reason. She really wants me around her. She wants me under her wing.
This is the one that's trying to be a nurse?
Yes, my older sister.
Yeah.
I'm not going to argue with her. I'm just going to go ahead and listen to her and see where it goes.
Is she already living there?
No, not yet. She's already filling out stuff and getting it all sorted out so she can have the apartment. She's just trying to find the right area, a nice calm area. It's an area I won't be getting into trouble in, and she's just paranoid about that, but she'll figure it out.
Right now, Noah's looking for a summer job. So if any of you have any leads, feel free to pass them this way. Noah turned 17 on May 20th. He graduates from high school June 23rd, and then he's on his own. I asked him how he's feeling about it all.
I know it's gonna hit me eventually. I'm gonna get some sort of sadness. I'm gonna get gloomy because I know I won't be able to be coming to this school every day anymore and seeing my friends and my teachers and all that. But above all, I'm prepared and I'm ready and I'm excited. I'm excited that I'm growing up. Of course, I'm gonna probably end up crying somewhere down the line because my mom, Erica, Shania, they're all just going to be crying in the audience. I already know it. Just like they did at 8th grade. They was all just crying.
Before we go, I wanted to give Noah a chance to share any final advice for his classmates or other high school students. Here's what he had to say.
Guys, we're so much more than this one hallway. We're so much more than these 4 stories in this building. Everybody in this school has the potential to be what they want to be and do what they want. Don't put yourself down. Don't ever think that you can't do it, because then you won't do it. You must think that you can and know that you can and know that you will, and you will do it. Anybody could graduate early. Anybody can. Ms. Sukar said it herself. So do what you gotta do. Sky is not the limit. There is no limit. The teachers, I love all the teachers. I love all y'all. Try not to give the teachers so much trouble. Try not to give anybody much trouble once you leave this school, because being ignorant is not going to get you anywhere in life at all. Try to be understanding. Try to accept life and accept its hardships, and accept that not everything's going to go your way, not all the time. And just do you. Live your life to the fullest. Live your life the way you want it. And be who you want to be.
How does he think they'd receive that message?
He'd be like, oh, shut up, Noah.
I started this project because I wanted to find out how racial segregation affects students' hearts and minds. The more I listen to students, teachers, and principals, though, the more I realize that academic segregation is just as severe and harmful. Mayor de Blasio recently responded to calls for school integration by saying he couldn't undo 400 years of American history, which I guess means that the city's segregated public school system was the inevitable result of the Mayflower voyage. In reality, the factors that contribute to present-day segregation are far more proximate, and they're in the mayor's control to fix. And his rhetoric suggests that he wants to fix them. Here's a statement he made 2 years ago.
So our schools must prepare every single student to achieve their highest potential. In other words, schools must run on the twin engines of equity and excellence.
The point is, it's deceptive to claim the goal of equity and excellence for all kids, while enforcing policies that invariably lead to inequity and failure for a large subset of them. When it comes to the high school choice process in particular, the city must either change the rules of the game to give all schools a more diverse population of students, or publicly admit that they are okay with the current caste system. But it can't be both. When Noah first told me he ran out of math classes after 10th grade, I formed a judgment about the school. How could they not challenge him? But then, looking at the data, I realized that if there were a calculus or statistics course at his school, Noah might just be the only student ready to take it. When I look at Noah, all I can think is, what if the Plinko chip had fallen another way? What if he had gotten into a more selective high school? What if he was getting ready for a summer internship and then senior year? What if the quality of his education didn't rely on factors that were outside of his control? What if?
And I hollered, someone save me. That's the moment I woke up, thank the Lord. So I said to myself, sit down, you're rocking a boat. Said to myself, sit down, you're rocking a boat. Or the devil will drag you under. With a soul so heavy you'll never float. Sit down, you're rocking a boat.
That's our show. Be on the lookout for an episode extra with bonus material from Noah, including his thoughts on Donald Trump, the purpose of public education, and a chance encounter he had recently with one of his white classmates from elementary school.
I had to turn around and be like, Brian? You're like, Noah? I'm like, yeah, what's up, bro? You're like, damn, I ain't even recognize you, bro. You look so different now. I'm like, yeah.
Episode 3 comes your way next month, featuring a Latino student from Harlem who developed an improbable friendship with a white girl who lives upstate, a girl who he's never actually met face to face. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Bell Podcast. I'm Taylor McGraw. Thanks for listening.